taped off. We got it contained, as you can see right here. Very simple, very easy tape job. Now, I use 2 different type of taping patterns on this, and I want to go over that and show it to you. Actually, 3.
Welcome to D.I.Y. Automotive School with my friend Pete and Minnie, the body shop girl. It's everything you need to know about cars and more.
What I did right here is it's called a hard line taping. That's just where you just tape the area off, tape the item off so you don't get overspray on it and what have you. And then if you look right in this area here, this is our foam tape. Now foam tape is very nice to use. This is it right here. Let me go ahead and get a little piece out. Just want to go over this very quickly because what we're doing here is we are just blending the paint and then clear coating. So it's important that you watch how I taped it off. This is a foam tape right here, and this one that you're looking at is a 3/4 inch. That's what I use all the time. Now it's sticky on one side. If you watch right here, you can see that it's sticky on that side, and then it's non-sticky on the other side. So what I've done is I went up this area here where the grill is, then came back around where the hood shuts down on it, and then of course right here where this grill is, this painted grill on the bottom, I went ahead and put it all the way around the edge of that, and then I take that off. And what that's going to do is going to give us a nice soft line. We won't have to do nothing with it, and you won't even know it was painted. Now on this line right here, I didn't want to use the foam tape on this line because what I wanted to have a little gap back here. As you can see, this goes even farther inside. See how my finger goes way up in there. And what I did right here is I went ahead and reverse back taped it. Remember when I showed you about doing it right here on the edges? Well, that's what I did over here. Because when I blend that clear into that area, I want it to smoke itself into here. So when I come back and I have to color sand that little area right there, if possible, I'll have enough area to do that with. And then basically what you're looking at now is the finished taped off area. Now y'all are probably sitting there wondering what's going on right here. I see Bondo right here, I see some black plastic here, I see primer here. Now, under certain circumstances, you would go ahead and reprime this and then wet sand it one more time. But I'm going to show you how to speed the process up. If you followed all my instructions to where we're at right now and you went ahead and sanded that with 400, then went back over it with 15, then this here is baby smooth. When I say baby smooth, there's no imperfections in that Bondo, there's no deep scratches. So what we're going to do, we're going to apply a coat of epoxy primer. Now that's a non-sandable primer. And what you do is you spray that on there, you cover everything up, and then it's ready to go in and apply the paint. Alright, the next thing we're going to do before we apply our epoxy primer is we're going to go ahead and take some rubbing alcohol on this job. We're not going to use wax and grease remover. This is just rubbing alcohol that I have here, and we're going to go ahead and wipe that down vigorously to make sure that it's very, very clean and wax, dirt, and dust free. It's very, very important. Always use rubbing alcohol on a rubber bumper. Do not use wax and grease remover. Rubbing alcohol brings the purities out into the bumper so the paint will stick properly. So remember that. No rubbing alcohol. No wax and grease remover. So remember that. No wax and grease remover, rubbing alcohol only. Okay, while the bumper's drying, let's look at our epoxy primer. Make sure that you buy a brand of primer that says epoxy primer. Doesn't matter what color it is, try to match the color that you're painting. I always use gray, so that's what we're doing. And this epoxy primer takes a hardener, it's a catalyst. Do not add any reducers to this. All you're going to do is use these two parts right here. By adding reducer, is going to make the paint blister, peel, and crack when it comes time to do that. So don't do that. Just use it just like it says, and use your directions properly. Okay, to tackle this job by applying our sealer, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my touch-up gun, and that's going to make it where the spraying is contained and we don't go too wide with it. We just want to put a nice thick coat on it for coverage only. Okay, we'll let that dry for approximately 25 to 30 minutes. Once that is cured, we'll come back, we'll apply our paint, blending it in to the edges. We don't want to go all the way over or all the way over here. We're just going to blend that area. And then once that's done, we'll apply our clear, and then hopefully we'll be done with the job. Okay, now that our primer's dry, we can go ahead and apply our paint. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to blend my paint from one end to the other. We can't have the camera way over here because we're inside my paint booth and all the overspray is going to go that way, so you're going to have to watch it from here. But when I blend, what I'll do is I'll start in the middle and I'll work my way out. Do you see what I'm saying? And as I paint it, I'm going to pull away from it, just like this. And what that's going to do, that's going to blend the paint on each side. We don't want to paint that whole area. We just want to start in the middle of our gray spot and then bring it out and then out. You see what I'm saying? Paint out like this now. So the way that I apply my paint is the same way that I'm going to apply the clear. Let's go ahead and get some paint on this and see what happens. Okay, we got our paint applied. It took 2.5 to 3 full wet coats to do that. And you can see right there that it looks really, really nice. I went ahead and blended as far over as possible on this side without getting to the top of the fender line, the bottom of the fender line, top of the bumper cover. And then I just whisked my way to blending it in over to this side over here. So we still got enough room to blend the clear. And on this over here, we're going to go ahead and clear this whole side all the way to the end of the bumper cover. And then the only place we're going to blend our clear is over here, right into this area right there. So to do that job, we're going to use a special clear. It's called Quick Drying Clear. And this is the product right here. This clear right here dries in approximately 30 to 40 minutes under normal circumstances, which would be approximately 70-degree weather. Being that it's about 42 degrees outside, it's going to take a little bit longer, but you got to be able to use this very quickly. And when I say quickly, I'm talking about you don't wait 30 minutes in between a paint coat. Once this is mixed together, and the only thing you're using is the hardener, activator, and the clear, once that's mixed together, you only have a pot life of approximately 30 minutes. That means that you wait about 5 minutes in between each coat, you spray it, and you're done. And then I'll go ahead, like I said in the paint booth, go ahead and paint all the way from the end of the bumper cover, and I will blend it around to the front. And then once we get to that stage, after the 2 coats of clear, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna show you how to melt the clear into the original paint so you don't have any blemishes or different inches in color, this, that, or the other. Second coat of clear, that's all this is going to take is 2 coats of clear. Now, the thing about clear coat, once you're done with it, it's done. It's over, you can't use it again. So we're going to go ahead and take our clear, our old clear, and we'll pour it back into this can right here, and then that's trash, and it's a done deal. We had just enough clear to do this job, there was a little left over. But the way that you blend the clear and melt it into the original paint is what you want to do is take your reducer, do not clean your spray gun out, dump the clear out, take your reducer, pour some reducer into your spray gun just like that. And then we're going to go in the paint booth and we're going to blend that area in right in the front there, and it's going to melt everything together and make it look just perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take this paper right here and I'm going to pull it back just like this, and I'm going to leave the paper on the car. And then I'm going to take my reducer, and what we're going to do is we're just going to give it a good shot of spray right in this area here, and what that's going to do, that's going to blend the paint into the original paint. And now we are done painting our car. Painted and we blended our paint in, the next thing we're going to do, if you remember correctly, this was taped down, I folded it over to blend the clear in. We're going to pull that back, and what I got here, I got a paint stick, all right, that I cut in half, and I'm using some 1500. Now what we're going to do with this is we're going to sand this area very lightly, and all that's doing is getting rid of that dry paint that we had where we taped it off. Once that's done, all right, I'm going to go ahead and check my bumper cover for any imperfections, such as possibly maybe a run. All right, I feel something right here. I'm going to go ahead and get that area right there. And I got a little cup of water right here that I could use. And I'm just going to get the imperfection out, just like that. Make sure everything feels good and looks good as well. Using a paint stick is going to give you a nice firm surface to work with instead of using a sponge. It's going to sand it down a lot better. Then what we'll do, we'll go ahead and take our wipe ball, nice clean rag, we'll wipe all the water off and all the muck from sanding it down. And you don't want to use anything but 1500 at this point. This is pretty much the final stage. And I'm only going to the extreme because this is a customer's car. If you think that it looks good enough just like it is, you don't need to do nothing else, but we're going to take it to the next level in case you're that guy that wants to do it right. So what I got here, I got an air drill. Now you can use an electric drill, and this is a little buffer kit. It's a detailed buffer kit that you can buy, and it comes with a wool pad and a foam pad, and then of course it comes with the adapter to put the pad on with. And it's a really, really nice item. This is good for spot buffing, such as what we're going to do here. And what we're going to do is we're going to buff the areas out that we color sanded down with 1500. So what I'm going to use here, I'm using a buffing compound. That's a high quality buffing compound, not just your average everyday wax that you buy in the store. You have to use buffing compound to do this. And then we'll go ahead and take our buffer, which is what I just said, a detail buffer, and we'll go ahead and buff this out. We're going to go ahead and go slow first just to work the wax in. And we're going to try to avoid the edges. You don't want to hit your edges. So here we go. Once we buffed it out using our wool pad and our rubbing compound, I'm going to go ahead and finish this job out using my foam pad and my foam pad wax. After all the buffing and detailing is done, we are now ready to go ahead and remove all of our paper and our foam tape. Now that we got all the tape removed and all the paper, the next thing we're going to do is detail it out. And what I'm using here is called Final Inspection. It's a wax and buffing compound cleaner, which will give us a nice lustrous look and be done with this job. So we're going to do a light spray just like that on the area that we've been working on. We're going to take a nice clean wipe ball and we're going to go ahead and remove any and all dirt, scum, or buffing compound that was left behind. And when we get done, we should have a nice, beautiful repaired bumper that is ready to roll. Alright, now that we finally detailed it out and we're all done painting it, as I was inspecting it, I noticed where the customer hit the bottom of his bumper as well. And what we need to do is remove that yellow paint right there from the bumper cover. So the way that we're going to do that, I'm going to take some more rubbing compound. I'm going to take a brand new white ball and I'm going to pour the rubbing compound onto my towel just like that. And then I'll rub the paint, the yellow paint should come off with ease. This way we don't have any color sanding or any type of sanding whatsoever, and we're cleaning his bumper off to perfection. As you can see right there. Rubbing compound will remove paint, but it will not remove scratches. And then as I'm still looking at the bumper cover, I see where the customer scratched the bumper down on the bottom. So what we're going to do to save this customer money is we're going to take a brush and we'll touch that up with our paint that we purchased for the bumper cover itself. So what I got here, I got the paint lid from the paint that I used, which has paint inside it. I'm going to take my touch-up brush, and then what I'll do is I will just touch this up nice and clean, just like so. Now, if the bumper was off of the vehicle, we would have went ahead and painted all this and fixed it by actually painting it with our spray gun instead of touching this up. But being on the bottom like this, it's not going to hurt to touch it up with a brush. I don't suggest to touch it up here in this area due to the fact that you will see the brush strokes and there might be a variance in color when you touch it up. But down here, as you can see, it's all blended in and you can't even tell that it was scratched at all. And then once we're done washing it off and everything's done and dandy, ready to go down the road, that's what you got right there. It's a beautiful repair, came out awesome. And that's the way that you fix a bad bumper cover at home. If you follow all these procedures and you do exactly what my friend Pete's telling you to do in the video set, you will be able to do it just like I did. This is Pete, my friend Pete, your friend Pete, showing you how to do stuff and taking you through the courses of not just fixing a car, but actually starting something and finishing it to the end. We have a lot of construction work going on right now, and I'm gonna go ahead and say goodbye to everybody, and hopefully they're gonna get my road repaired and done. Bumper repair 101 right there. This is the situation. And this is the deal that's going to happen when you get off your lazy ass and do it right and get her done and do it right.
Watching D.I.Y. Automotive School. Classes don't stop till you know everything.